Hello and welcome to our training. Today we're going to be covering QuickBooks in 30 minutes, a crash course for busy business owners like yourself. So if we're just meeting, my name is Melinda Reed and I live in beautiful Western Montana. I'm a certified QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor and the owner of 406 Bookkeeping Services, where we specialize in helping small business owners spend less time on their books and more time growing a profitable business. I also love simplifying QuickBooks for business owners. So let's go ahead and get right into today's QuickBooks training. So what topics are we actually going to cover today? Well, we're going to cover getting started and setting up QuickBooks Online. We're going to cover bookkeeping terminology that you'll need to know. We'll cover syncing your bank accounts and recording transactions, how to invoice a customer, how to receive payments and make deposits, how to enter and pay bills, how to handle personal transactions, how to generate and read financial reports, bookkeeping tasks that you need to be doing, and how to get some more help. Now, some topics that we are not going to be covering today are sales tax, inventory tracking, creating estimates, and payroll. So let's go ahead and get started with our first topic, getting started and setting up QuickBooks Online. So first of all, let's go over the different options that we have with QuickBooks Online. We have QuickBooks Simple Start, Essentials, Plus, and Advanced. And the prices of these range from less than $50 to $200 plus a month. If you want to see the current pricing on each of these, feel free to check that out at info.406bookkeeping.com/QuickBooks. And we're going to go ahead and dive deeper into these different QuickBooks Online options here for you today. Now, if you're wanting to learn more about QuickBooks Desktop, this is not the best training to be on for that. QuickBooks Online is my expertise, not so much QuickBooks Desktop, so you'll want to look elsewhere if you're wanting to learn more about QuickBooks Desktop. So we're going to look first at QuickBooks Simple Start. Now, at the top of my screen, you're going to see the letters QBO. Now, this is the abbreviation for QuickBooks Online, and you'll often hear me refer to QuickBooks Online by this abbreviation versus the full name. So QuickBooks Simple Start. Who should actually choose Simple Start? Well, this is geared toward a small business or solo owner who wants one full access user and their accountant to have access to their books. So the features are you can create invoices and estimates, you can enter bills and track payables, you can track mileage, you can link your bank and credit cards, you can manage your business receipts and expenses, and have basic reports. Now, all of the following QBO subscriptions build on the features of Simple Start. So each plan I'm about to cover includes everything in Simple Start and more. So the next option we have here is QBO Essentials. Now, who would use this one? Well, this is for small businesses who don't need to track classes or budgets. And the features include you can have 3 users, you can have custom fields, enhanced reports, you have multi-currency capabilities, recurring invoices where you can automatically invoice clients who have regularly scheduled orders, and you can enter employee time by client or project and automatically add it to invoices. Now, this next one is QBO Plus, and this is for small businesses who do need to track classes or budget. Now, with Plus, you'll still get everything in Essentials, and you'll be able to have 5 users. You, of course, have the budget option, comprehensive reports for things like inventory, class reports, and profitability reports, inventory tracking, class and location tracking. You can track up to 40 of those, project profitability tracking, as well as purchase orders. And the last one we have here is QBO Advanced. Now, QuickBooks Online Advanced is for larger teams and organizations. So some of the features specific to QBO Advanced are you can have up to 25 users. You can customize their access by role. You can manage employees' expenses. You can have over 250 accounts in your chart of accounts, where the other options have a limit of 250. You have the ability to create custom reports, as well as batch invoices, checks, expenses, and bills. And you have unlimited class and location tracking. Now, how do we actually choose the right QuickBooks Online subscription? So you'll want to start with a subscription that actually meets your minimum requirements. And then as you go, you can upgrade or even downgrade as your needs change. Now, some key features in QuickBooks Online. First of all, you can access your account from anywhere if you have an internet connection. It works on both a PC or a Mac. And you can connect your bank accounts to automate your data entry in real time. So this is a great time saver. So you just connect your bank account, you go in and review the transactions that QBO has pulled in from your bank account, and then you can quickly see your profits on the reports that QuickBooks provides for you. Now, a question that comes up for some folks is, what if I have multiple companies? Then you're going to want to talk to your QuickBooks Pro Advisor about the multi-company discount. This only applies to new QuickBooks Online files, and all the companies must be set up at the same time. So you're charged for the first Plus subscription, and then each additional company is charged at a big discount per month. And this offer is for 2 years. Now, we kind of just mentioned this, but another question that sometimes comes up is, what if I'm a Mac user? And that is totally fine. QuickBooks Online works with Mac and PC. I personally use a Mac and it works just fine on mine. Okay, so what do you say we take a quick tour of QuickBooks Online? So we're going to log into QuickBooks Online's sample company and show you around a little bit here. So let's first of all go up here to the top right corner and we're going to click on this gear icon. And this is going to pull up options here where we can manage our users over here. We can edit our company settings. We can reconcile our accounts and so many other options right here. Now, one of the buttons that you'll find yourself using often is this plus or create icon over here on the top left. This is where you can quickly create bills, invoices, estimates, and so many other options here as well. Now, another section you'll find yourself using frequently is the left side menu. When you first log in, QuickBooks will have you here in your dashboard, and most of your categories will be here across the top of the screen. But once you click into one of them, let's say, for example, accounting, it now moves all of those category options over to the left sidebar, and we can now click the drop-down arrows under each of these main categories and see what options we have under each one. And one more time-saving tip here in QuickBooks Online is to click here on the search bar at the top of your screen, and this pulls up your recent transactions right here and allows you to search for things and even do a more advanced search down here at the bottom left of this pop-up. Now, we just mentioned where to find the company settings by clicking on this gear icon and going here to Account and Settings. We can go in here and we can change our company info. We can add our logo right here. We can change our automation settings. We can set up QuickBooks payments. We can look there and see our usage limits and our account details. We can turn on projects as well as turn on billable tracking. And that's just scratching the surface of the different settings that we can adjust and edit here to our preference. So we've just covered getting started and setting up QuickBooks. So now we're going to move on to bookkeeping terminology that you're going to need to know. So first of all, we've got revenue. Now, most of you are probably already very familiar with this term. This is your earnings from operation, aka your income. This is money brought into the company, typically by selling goods, products, or services. Now, our second term is cost of goods sold. These are costs that can be directly tied to your revenue. So we're talking direct labor, for example, labor of your employees that are making the products that you sell. And this can also be direct materials. So for example, say you make and sell dog toys. This can be the cost of the squeakers that go in the toys or the materials to make the balls, etc. Now, our next term here is expenses. Now, these are the costs incurred to operate the business. So for example, your QuickBooks Online subscription, your payment to your accountant for preparing your taxes, and so on and so forth. You get the idea. Now, the next term is assets. Now, these are resources owned by your business that are expected to provide a future value. Assets can include your bank accounts, your accounts receivable, which is money that is owed to you from your customers. Your assets also include your inventory, your fixed assets like your buildings, your equipment, etc., as well as other assets that may include, for example, trademarks or patents or similar things. Now, next we have our bank accounts, and obviously you know what these are already. And if you have a login and a password, you can connect your bank account to your QuickBooks Online file, and this will save you so much time and errors. Now, we briefly mentioned this one when we talked about assets, but this one is called accounts receivable. And what this is amounts owed from your customers. So when you create an invoice, it will automatically be posted to this account, accounts receivable. We also briefly mentioned this term, but this is fixed assets. These are assets with a useful life greater than 1 year. So for example, our buildings that we own, our machinery that we use year after year, and so forth. Now, next up we have liabilities. Now, liabilities are debts and other obligations of your business. So for example, your credit card amount that you owe, your loans, etc. Now, there are two types of liabilities that you need to know about, and they're called current liabilities and long-term liabilities. Your current liabilities are due within 1 year, while your long-term liabilities have maturities greater than 1 year. And then we have accounts payable. Now, this term is like the opposite of accounts receivable. Accounts payable are the amounts that you owe to your vendors. So when you create bills in QuickBooks, they will post to this accounts payable account. Okay, the last term we're going to cover is owner's equity. This is the owner's investment into the company. So let's say you put your personal money into your business. For example, you probably put money into your business bank account when you first opened it. That's called owner's equity. So anytime that you put your personal money into your business, that's owner's equity, okay? Now, equity is also the difference between assets and liabilities. So if you add up all of your assets and then you subtract out what you owe in liabilities, the difference that you get is also called owner's equity. So if you take assets minus your liabilities, that equals your owner's equity. Okay, we've now covered getting started and setting up QuickBooks as well as bookkeeping terminology that you'll need to know. So now we're going to move on to syncing your bank account and recording transactions. So why would you want to sync your account to QuickBooks Online? Well, you can save a lot of time by connecting your bank account as well as your credit cards to the bank feed center in QuickBooks. This allows you to quickly review, add, and match transactions that have cleared the bank account. And this definitely saves you a lot of time. So how do we actually sync or connect the bank account to QuickBooks? Well, on our left side menu over under Accounting, we'll click on Bank Transactions, and it will bring you here to this screen. And on this screen, we're going to click Link Account there on the right-hand side. and then it will pull up a screen that looks like this. And you'll search for your bank, and you'll enter your login information. You'll choose which accounts you want to connect, and you'll just follow the prompts to finish connecting your account. It's really that simple. Okay, we're going to switch back over to the QuickBooks file, and as a reminder of how to get here, from our dashboard, we're going to go to Accounting and Bank Transactions. Now this is how your screen will look when you have your accounts connected in QuickBooks. As you can see here in this sample account, we have our checking, our savings, and our MasterCard accounts connected to QuickBooks. So if we click on each of them, we'll see the transactions that are in each of these accounts that QuickBooks has pulled in. So we don't have to manually enter each transaction that goes through our accounts. Instead, QuickBooks is now pulling those in for us. So now what we need to do is we need to go in and click on each transaction. We'll enter our vendor or customer name here, and then we'll enter our account name here. So if this charge was, let's say for example, this was office supplies, we'll start typing in office. We already have office expenses set up in here, so we just click on that, and this expense would show up under our office expenses on our reports. Now let's say for example this was fuel instead. You would just type in fuel, you would choose that category or whichever one actually matches the transaction that you're working on here in QuickBooks, and then you would go over here to the blue button or down to the green button at the bottom right of your screen, and you would click Add. And that's how you would record transactions in QuickBooks Online. So now we're going to quickly cover how to actually invoice a customer. You're going to use the invoice function in QuickBooks for clients who have not yet paid you. So in QBO, there is a report called Accounts Receivable Aging Report. And this is a great report to easily track who still owes you money. You can also set up QuickBooks payments to give your customers the option to click and pay when you send them an invoice. So to create the invoice, you're going to hover over the plus or create icon that we mentioned earlier in the top left corner of the screen, and you're going to choose Invoice there in the menu. Then you're going to go through and enter the customer's name, as well as the other information, such as the product or service that they purchased and the amount that is owed to your company. Okay, so when a customer pays that invoice that was due, what you're going to do is inside of your QuickBooks file, you're going to hover over the plus or create icon at the top left of your screen, and we're going to click Receive Payment, and that will pull up a screen like this. Now on this screen, you're going to select the correct customer, select the payment method that customer used to pay you. You're going to make sure the deposit to account is set to undeposited funds, or in some accounts it might be called payments to deposit. You'll then enter the amount that you received from your customer. You'll select the appropriate invoice, and then you'll click Save. So again, we'll hover over the plus or create button and click Receive Payment. Select our correct customer here in the top left. Then we'll select the correct date. We'll select the payment method and enter the reference number there. So if they paid you with a check, you'd enter their check number right there. And in the deposit to section, this is where you're going to have this going to undeposited funds. And further over to the right, we'll enter in the amount that we received. And at the bottom left, we'll select the appropriate invoice. Or we can click here and enter the invoice number that we're looking for that the customer just paid off. And then we'll click the Record and Close button at the bottom right corner. Now that's the step we take when we receive the payment from our customer. But when you actually take that check or cash and you deposit it into your bank, you're going to need to record that deposit in QuickBooks also. So this step in QuickBooks is basically like you're preparing your deposit slip like you would take to the bank. Now this step and the last step we covered are very important to complete when you receive payments from your customers so that the payments accurately show up in your QuickBooks file. So for this step, we're again going to hover over the plus or create icon. And this time we're going to click on Bank Deposit. On this screen, we'll then select the correct bank account that we're depositing the money into. We'll select the date we deposited the money. We'll check off the boxes at the bottom for each customer payment that we included in this deposit. And then we'll click Save at the bottom right. So again, we'll hover over the plus or create button and click Bank Deposit. On this screen, we're going to select the bank account at the top left. We're going to enter the date over to the right of it. We're going to check the boxes on the left-hand side, and then we're going to click Save down in the bottom right. Okay, so that was invoices. Now, how do we enter and pay bills? So when a vendor sends you an invoice that you need to pay, you're going to hover over the plus or create icon, but this time you're going to select bill. And then you're going to enter the information very similarly to creating an invoice for your customers. You'll enter the name of your vendor. You're going to enter the terms of the bill, the due date, and the bill number. You'll select the appropriate expense category like office supplies or whatever category or categories. Then you're going to enter the amount that's owed to that vendor. And then you're going to click Save. So here on your screen, it's going to look like this. You'll enter your vendor name, vendor terms, bill date, due date, your bill number, the category details, the amount, and then down at the bottom right, you're going to click Save. Now this is entering the bill in QuickBooks, but when you go to pay this bill, you also need to record in QuickBooks that you have just paid the bill. So to do this, we're going to hover over the plus or create icon. You'll notice that we use that icon a lot. This time we're going to click on Pay Bills. Then we're going to select the vendors or bills that we want to pay. We'll make sure that the correct payment account is selected at the top. And if we're paying with a check, we'll enter the correct check number here. and click Save at the bottom right of our screen. Now, if we're printing checks from QuickBooks to pay our vendors with, then down at the bottom, we'll change the Save dropdown to Save and Print. So here you see the Pay Bills screen. You just select the bill or multiple bills that you're paying over on the left. You make sure the payment information at the top is correct, and then you click Save at the bottom right. And like I mentioned, if you're printing the checks from QuickBooks, then you're going to change this drop-down menu to Save and Print. Okay, we are coming right along on our topics that we're covering today. So our next topic is going to be, how do you handle personal transactions? So what do you do if you accidentally paid a personal expense on your business bank account or your credit card? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to categorize this transaction to an owner's equity account, such as owner's pay and personal expense. And this will cause the transaction to be recorded on our balance sheet, and it won't inaccurately affect our income statement. Now, similarly, what do you do if you accidentally paid a business expense on a personal credit card or bank account? Well, first of all, in our QuickBooks file, we're going to navigate to our chart of accounts by clicking the gear icon and then chart of accounts. We're then going to select the owner's equity account. We're going to click Add Journal Entry, and then we're going to enter the vendor, the amount, and expense category, and then click Save. So we'll go to the gear icon and click on Chart of Accounts. We'll find our owner's equity account and click View Register there on the right. We'll then select Add Journal Entry there on the left, and then we'll enter all of the information for the expense here. So the date, the vendor, the amount, the category, and then we'll click Save. Now this amount that we just entered is going to show up in two different places. The first place is on our income statement. You'll see it show up here under the expense category that you just categorized it to. And the second place that this is going to show up is going to be on our balance sheet. And as you can see here, that same amount is going to show up under our owner's equity account. Since it's your personal money that you spent, it's like an investment that you made from your personal money into your business. Okay, now we were just looking at a couple excerpts from our financial reports. So how do we actually generate and read our financial reports? So some of the reports that you're probably going to actually be generating in QuickBooks Online would be your profit and loss report. This is also referred to as your income statement. You also want to generate your balance sheet, your AR aging reports, your AP aging, and maybe your budget versus actuals report. Now the profit and loss, or the income statement, this shows your revenue, your expenses, and net income for a period of time. So for example, you can choose just 1 month, you can choose an entire year, you can choose multiple years. And this is a report that you're going to want to review at least monthly. Now you can easily generate this report in QuickBooks by going to Reports. You're going to click on Profit and Loss. You're going to choose the appropriate dates that you're wanting to view the report from, and then you'll select cash or accrual based on how your books are set up. Now next we have the balance sheet. This report shows our assets, liabilities, as well as our equity at a snapshot in time. So to run this report, you're again going to go to Reports. This time you're going to click on the balance sheet. You're going to choose the appropriate date, and the ending date here is the one that matters since it's a snapshot of how the balance sheet looks at that specific date. And then again, you're going to select cash or accrual. Now accounts receivable aging report shows which customers' balances are outstanding and how many days past due they are. So to run this report, we're going to again go to Reports. You're going to find Accounts Receivable Aging Summary, and then you're going to choose the appropriate date. Now the Accounts Payable Aging Report is very similar, but this one shows which vendor balances that your business still owes and how many days past due they are. So again, you're going to go to Reports. You're going to find the Accounts Payable Aging Summary and choose the appropriate date. And then the Budget versus Actuals report, this shows your actual results versus your budgeted amounts. And this report is only available in QBO Plus or advanced subscriptions. To run this one, you've got to first set up a budget in QuickBooks Online, and then you would again go to Reports, search for Budget versus Actuals, and run the report. Okay, now what bookkeeping tasks do you actually need to be doing? So let's give you a little breakdown here. There are daily, weekly, and monthly tasks that need to be completed. Daily, you're going to want to monitor your cash on hand and your upcoming cash needs. On a weekly basis, you're going to record your customer receivables and payments, as well as enter and pay vendor bills. Then on a monthly basis, you're going to want to reconcile all your bank, credit card, and loan accounts. You're going to want to file and pay your sales tax depending on your specific business. Yours may be filing quarterly, or you may not owe sales tax depending on your business. You want to review your budget versus your actuals. You also want to review your month-over-month profit and loss report just for accuracy and trends that you want to be aware of. So we have covered a lot during today's QuickBooks Online crash course. We covered getting started and setting up QuickBooks, bookkeeping terminology, syncing our accounts and recording transactions, invoicing, receiving payments and making deposits, entering bills, handling personal transactions, generating reports, and bookkeeping tasks that you need to be doing. Now, I hope you learned a lot today and feel much more confident in QuickBooks Online. But if you're to the point where you're tired of trying to learn QuickBooks Online yourself and would actually prefer to be doing the money-making activities in your business, or even just the parts of your business that you actually enjoy, then consider this, all right? What if you didn't have to learn QuickBooks after all? What if the hours that you're spending on learning QuickBooks and the ins and outs of bookkeeping could instead be given back to you, and you could focus that time on activities in your business that actually make you money? Or maybe take those hours and spend those with family instead of at the desk struggling with your books. The truth is, you can absolutely have that time back. But how would that work? Well, let's explore this. What if you could work with a professional, trusted bookkeeping firm who specializes in QuickBooks Online? The firm would handle the monthly bookkeeping tasks of categorizing transactions and reconciling the books, and then send you the reports for that month so that you could see where your business is financially and what you need to adjust to grow your profits in your business. Would that relieve your mind a little bit? Or maybe a lot? Would that help you maybe have a little more free time to go on a family outing or that vacation that you keep putting off because you have so much to catch up on? Or maybe just finally have some peace of mind knowing your books are accurate and up to date and that you have good reports to review so that you can make informed business decisions. If any or all of this sounds like something that you would like to explore further, then let's hop on a call and chat about it. Don't worry, I'm not going to try to hard sell you or pressure you to commit. We'll just chat about your business, how your current bookkeeping is going and your business goals, and then we'll both decide if we're a good fit for each other. So think about this. Bookkeeping is what my firm does. That's the service that we specialize in. So unless your business offers bookkeeping as a service to others, then bookkeeping is not what your business specializes in, right? So what if you outsource your books to my firm and instead focused your time and efforts on the products or services that your business specializes in? How would that affect your business if you could focus your attention back on your specialty? If this sounds inviting, then go ahead and either book a call with me on my calendar. The link is shown here on my screen, or there's a button below this video that you can click on to go directly to my calendar to book the call. Or feel free to shoot me an email at melinda@406bookkeeping.com. I'm really looking forward to chatting with you, getting to know you and your business, and seeing if we're a good fit for your business. So thank you so much for attending this QuickBooks Online training. I hope you learned some valuable information that will help you going forward. Again, thank you so much for your time and attention, and take care.